The next move, shoulder and elbow and wrist movement I'm going to demonstrate is Gomukhasana, otherwise known as the cow face pose. Many people have difficulty with this pose if their shoulders and their elbows and even their wrists don't have full range of motion. Oftentimes when you go into this range of motion, you're going to find that you either have restriction in movement or you even have pain. So the first thing you need to know is when you begin this pose, you bring the arm out to the side and you attempt to do internal rotation, not only at the shoulder, but at the elbow and the wrist. So if you have full range of motion, the palm will be facing up towards the ceiling. The next movement you make is called adduction, where you bring the extended arm up into the rear, which is extension. Then you try and bring the arm into adduction, which is into the midline, and immediately your elbow will probably bend. And it's from that you attempt to get your hand as high up the back as you can. Many people try and use their other hand to reach that hand higher up. This gives you the true, accurate range of motion that you have in the shoulder and the elbow in this position. The upper arm comes straight up overhead, but it isn't just hanging out in space. You actually are trying to elevate the arm. Now this seems like it's a paradox in that you're taking the hand away from the other hand. But what it does is it creates space in the shoulder joint, the elbow, and the wrist as you keep extending skyward. Once you reach your maximum range of motion, you bend that elbow, but you keep the elbow lifted. And then when you bring your hands together, hopefully you can curl the fingers upon each other. Often what happens in this pose, even if you can get the fingers together, is that the top elbow has a tendency to come forward because the shoulder joint just doesn't have the full range of motion. And so when you get into the pose, and if your fingers are curled, try and get the elbow to go to the rear. This is how you maximize muscular contraction and range of motion in all the joints of the shoulder and arm. As you release, you want to make sure you go in the reverse movements as you come back to center.